Hi guys, it is Soncerae here. This is my first Google Hangout. I've been trying to do a Google Hangout with this guy for a very, very long time. And he's finally here. I finally figured out how to do it. So I'm going to introduce you to him. Oh, you know what? I'm going to let him introduce himself. All right, let's see. All right, wait. Okay, go ahead.
My name is Tyrese Lollis. I'm an actor, currently born and raised out of Wichita, Kansas. Had a lot of opportunities to do a lot of work in the great city of Atlanta, Georgia. And now I'm back home for a little bit. I'm in Wichita, Kansas, but I plan on making my transition back to Atlanta very, very, very soon. Um, Single parent, got two kids. Got a son that's 7. I have a daughter that's 12 who just recently celebrated her birthday. So she's 12 going on 25, seems like it. But that's me in a nutshell. Yeah, that's me.
Why would you want to come back here?
um, Primarily because when you look at it from a acting standpoint, there's the growth that's taken place in Atlanta. In the Midwest, the opportunity is there, but it's very, very limited. It's very low. So, I have either two options. One option would be moving to LA. Um, Next option would be Atlanta, especially when it comes to film, which is where I'm really more passionate about. I've done a lot of theater, so I've done a lot of theater in New York and in Atlanta, but transitioning to the film side is I really want to have a solid opportunity and a solid presence in that. So in order to do that, of course, is going to be one living in a place where the opportunities are there. So that's going to either be Atlanta or LA. I've had a chance to be in both cities. I love living in Atlanta. LA is a whole different monster. It's a whole different monster out there.
Here's my thing. Okay, so Atlanta is a good place for business,
Yeah.
right? I mean, as a model, because I was a model for a long time here, it seemed like a good place for entertainment at that time, but that was like 5 years ago. So is it the same,
hmm
like entertainment wise? Like, is it easy to handle business or is it difficult? Or it's like, is it more competitive?
I would say right now, from a film perspective, in Atlanta is getting a lot more competitive because you have a lot of the major studios that are transitioning from LA and moving into Atlanta. I was just reading an article um, earlier, and I think it's already maybe 200 and something projects have already been filmed in the city of Atlanta. Pretty almost double the number that's in LA. So they see that there's an opportunity in the South. Of course, Georgia provides that tax break, that tax credit that a lot of film and production companies get. So that's why you see a lot of movies, especially with Sony Gem and a lot of Marvel movies. A lot of TV shows are transitioning, not just TV shows on TV One and BET and Bounce TV, but we're talking about major networks as far as ABC, NBC are starting to transition to move a lot of their projects into the South. So with them moving it into the Georgia area, it creates more opportunity for actors to get involved in projects. And this is not just, not background actors, but we're talking about feature roles. We're talking about auditioning for lead roles. Those opportunities are starting to come open a lot more for actors.
Would you do a Tyler Perry Medea movie?
You know what? I definitely would. I would. I had an opportunity to actually. I was on the Have and Have Nots, so I had an opportunity to be on there. I would love to do. Actually, I would love to be in one of his plays. Actually, so hopefully he sees this. And hey, Tyler, Mr. Perry, I'm uh, to definitely would love to do one of his stage plays. I think that's to me. I've been following him for a long time. So when he first had his, one of his very first stage plays, when nobody was going to him, and this is years and years ago, and I was a lot younger then, but at that time I was kind of interested in the black theater. So I've been following this whole story and going from plays to movies now to TV shows. So who knows what else he gonna have next? Maybe if he do a talk show, he can hire you and you can have your own TV show. How about? I think that's a good idea.
That might be a good idea. Shoot, because I always tell people I don't want to act. Like, I think I would be horrible at acting. I think I can be myself better than acting. Like I like to do like improv comedy
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Do you have credits, right?
yeah. So for me, like, I'm like when it comes to acting, like I thought I was gonna never be a great actor. And honestly, when I moved to Atlanta, when I moved to Georgia, really, I had no interest in acting. However, I was at that time I had moved to Augusta, Georgia, and I was working there, and I would take trips to Atlanta every once in a while. And I remember I was in Lenox Mall, and I ran to a casting director by the name of Kate Clark, who was there, and she does like a lot of the music videos, things of that nature. And she was like, "Hey, you got a face, you should try being in a music video." And I'm just like, "Who, me? Whatever. I don't know nothing about that. I'm this boy from Kansas that just moved to Georgia with his job. I don't know nothing about that." I decided to take her up on an opportunity. And from there, I met with a photographer by the name of James Lewis. I did some work with him, and he did like a little small interview. And he was like, "Man, you should really look into acting." And same thing. I was like, "Man, me? Yeah, right. You got the wrong guy." And from there, I just started to say, "Hey, let me stick my foot out there." And I started doing a lot of auditions. Got a lot of no's at first. Got a whole lot of no's. Uh, but after a while, the opportunity started opening, and one person gave me a major opportunity. From then, it just started opening, and I think for me, what makes me great that I found is really a lot of my scenes that I do. I really tie a lot of personal situations into them, and so that's when they talk about methods of acting and taking pieces of you and putting it into that character. That's what I do. So if it's a scene that's real emotional, I really take myself into a situation where I was maybe hurt, or I was frustrated, I was angry, and I put that in the back of my mind, but I'm still delivering my lines. So that way it seems realistic. It seems natural. And everybody's like, "Man, you had me crying." I was like, "Yeah, I was crying in the inside too. You just don't know it." But that's what kind of helped me be great at it. So
I just don't understand how you could be like you could keep it separate from, I don't know, like your personal life. Like if you are pulling your emotions into work, how do you not feel equally stressed? Like if you're stressing like that at work and at home, like how do you separate the two?
it's rough.
Like I remember, huh?
I was saying, yeah, it's rough. When I did a stage play, I think it was matter of fact, it was last year. The stage play was called Double Lives, and this was actually done in Augusta, Georgia. And the character I played, I was a pastor of a church who had a criminal past that came to light. I would just leave it at that. A criminal past that came to light. And there was a scene where the person who pretended to be my mother turned out not to be my mother. She was my sister.
What?
So yeah. So in the play, it's a scene where she talks about how our parents didn't want nothing to do with us, or they didn't want her, or they just abandoned me. And honestly, I had to take myself back into my childhood and just kind of think about what emotions and what was I dealing with, as a child, when I wanted my biological father to be there, which he wasn't. He was there once in a while, but I had to take myself back to that. And from there, I was able to pour those real raw emotions about how I felt as a little kid and bring that to life, in my character. Is it stressful? Yeah, because after that scene, I literally had to kind of calm down, had to kind of digress, had to kind of go back,
Mm,
because I left it really all out there on the stage. Every emotion I wanted to put out as a teenager and as a young adult that I never had the chance to, I put it out then. And after that play, went straight to my hotel room. I was knocked out sleep. It took it took that much energy from me. Like I was knocked out. So it can be stressing. It can be stressful. But it's just the nature of the business. It's the nature of the beast. You got to be able to balance it. Got to.
do you do you think your father not being around has a lot to do with your drive in relation to your career?
Um, I would say at first it did, because I had this vendetta or this chip, like I'm trying to prove that I'm better. than him. I was like, yeah, I'm never going to be like that. I had to prove that I was better. And it came a point to where I couldn't allow that to be my drive for it, because, I have a son, I have a daughter, and I really had to channel or change where I was pretty much putting that energy. So I put it more into me being a great father for my kids, because I'm very passionate about both of my kids. Those two are my partners. Like, everything I do, I consider them first. They've been on the road with me. They've been to my stage plays. They travel with me. But I had to get into a place to where I was, I couldn't use that. At first I did, but hey, I'm older now. I'm a father now. I'm a grown man. I had to just, in a sense, let that go and say, hey, I can't change someone else's decisions that they made in the past. And even if there was something we could correct in the future, I can only make that attempt. But at the end of the day, I still have to move on with myself.
Did you they have the same mother, right?
No.
Because I was getting ready to say, why didn't you marry their mother?
No, they have two. They have two different. My daughter's mother lived here in Kansas. My son, he was born out of Augusta, Georgia. So two different mothers.
No, wait. I don't. That was a very personal question, so I don't want you to. If it's uncomfortable, because I just burst out of nowhere with that shit. Like, like, why didn't you make? Why didn't you though? Was it a typical reason? Was it a man reason, or was it a typical woman reason? Is what I want to know.
I would say, in all honesty, when it comes to my daughter's mother, we were married.
Oh, okay.
And eventually, I would say, sometimes, in relationships, things happen, and end up going our own ways. I met my son's mother. I would say at that point, I was kind of in a low point, and really tried to make the best of having a relationship with my son's mother. But at the end of the day, things happen. So I'm just going to leave it.
Yeah, like I thought about it after I asked. I was like, Soncerae, damn, that was crazy.
I did that because I don't they see this video and I don't want nobody in my inbox threatening my life.
I know, right? my bad. So, forget I even asked that. But I did tell you on my channel, when we talk about these things, like we talk about Black family, and you not growing up with your father. I wonder, did that affect your relationships with women? That's what that was going to be the next question.
And the honest truth, there's a lot I would say that really impacted my relationships with women. I think the one thing, I felt rejection. One, from my father. So growing up I would say from high school to middle school, although my mom married my stepdad, and don't get me wrong, he is like a phenomenal man. That's my pops right there. That guy is a phenomenal dude. He taught me so much. But when as a child that there's someone's DNA that's in you that is walking around the same town that you're in, you still have that hunger for wanting that person involved in your life. So for me, I felt a piece of rejection. I felt, and I always felt that I needed to be needed at some point, because I felt rejected by him. And there was a personal situation which really I just kind of opened up to recently, which not too many people know about. I only kind of confessed to my mother, but there was something that I've been holding on to for so many years. And, at the age of 12, I was taken advantage of by a grown woman at 12. And I would say for me, that really put a damper on my relationship growing up in my early 20s, early teenage years, trying to date, because I felt like if I wasn't accepted in a certain way, then they weren't showing me any kind of love. Like, the woman at that time, I believe she might have been 18, and I was 12 at the time. And her whole how she played with my head was basically telling me that, look, if you want to be the man, if you want to be the grown man, you're going to do X, Y, and Z. So up 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, I thought doing certain actions made me a grown man. And if those actions didn't take place, I felt like I was being rejected. And when I felt like I was being rejected, I would pretty much like, hey, sorry, relationship was cool. I'm all right. Going back to business.
Damn.
But that's me being honest, going from age, 15 all the way up to 21. That's where my mind was. And that's simply because of something that I've encountered. A lot of people don't know about it. And I've sheltered that for so many years. And it wasn't recently, this year, before I had moved back home, that I had that conversation with my mom. And I said, there's something I got to tell you. There's something you don't know about. And I want to be open and honest with you about it, of something that took place years ago. So, I told my mom about it. Of course, my mom was like, well, why you didn't tell me then? Why you didn't, but I had to explain to my mom at that time, I felt like I was trying to be a man. And at the end of the day, I always wanted to be the man, more of a man than the man that created me. That's where my mind was at. Well, I'm going to always be better than him. I want to be better than him because he ain't nowhere to be found. He's not in my life like I want him to be. So
do you believe that part of being a man is you being promiscuous?
Nah, like, that doesn't make nobody.
Yeah, like, do you collect women?
In society, they try to talk about like, hey, a man is a man because he has X, Y, and Z, so many number of women, and you see that glorified in media, you see that glorified in music videos, you see that glorified on TV. And in a young age, I believe that because that's what I seen, that's what I thought. But it took growing up to understand, like, nah, that's not what a man is. You can date 10 women, you can have as many women as you want, but you still gonna be a little boy. Because being a man is not about how many women you've had or how many men you date. Being a man is a matter of character. Being a man is a matter of how you carry yourself. Being a man is a matter of how you take care of your business and your responsibilities and set up for your future, not set up for yourself. So I went through that growth process, and I began to learn and observe and look at my actions as an individual. And it's like, nah, this is not what a man is. Nah.
When did you figure that out? How old were you when you figured it out?
I would say for me, I was probably I would say that's probably about 25 when that started to set in.
What? You learned that? Listen, you learned that at an early age. It is still men walking around here 35, 36 and still ain't figured that out yet. Not even close to figuring that out. But
see me, I believe as I had at the end of the day, I have a strong mama, and my mama gonna correct you when you wrong, regardless of how it's gonna hurt your feelings. So it took a time where my mom had to really sit down and talk to me, and really she had to tell me about myself, and talking with who I call my pops now. We've had those conversations. At first I was kind of at distance because I really wanted my biological father more than anything. But it became a point to where I was, being more receptive to him and really listening to the things that he was telling me. And I just watched. I watched his relationship with my mother. And I think that's where I started to really observe and learn a lot. It's to the point to where if my mom wants something, my dad is always 3 steps ahead of her. It's already done before she even fixes her mouth to ask for it.
Wow.
My mom doesn't have to go shopping for her clothes. And this is going to sound crazy, but my dad, he knows my mom down to a T, to where he can go into the mall, pick out an outfit the exact same size with the matching shoes and the matching purse, bring it to the house. And my mom, I'm like, yeah, that's it.
Is she like that with him? But is she like that with him?
Same exact way. Like,
that's
their
good.
relationship is that when we hear about love and black love, when I think of that, I really think about my parents' relationship. And that's just like, man, that's what I want right there. Like, man, I want to be able to go in the mall and be like, baby, hey, I got you something. Look, Look what I brought back for me for the stove. You know, I want to be able to do that. You know, so I think just from watching them and observing them, that's where that whole growth for me really set in.
Well, you seem like you're a good guy. You know, I've always felt like you were a good guy. I've known you for a few years now. I wish we would have met in person a long before we actually did. But
Yeah.
yeah, we just met in person like this year. I think we met one other time before that. Maybe I'm thinking if I can
It was
recall.
Atlanta. It was like downtown or some. It was some event. I remember that.
It was Avila. I remember.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it was Avila. I wish we would have talked longer, but from what I've seen, is that you a pretty decent guy. So, do
Mm-hmm.
you think that because you're a good man and you consider yourself a good guy, do women give you a difficult time? Like, is it harder for you as a good man to get women?
I would say for me, I'm very. I don't want to use the words picky. I guess I can say that. I don't know. But I think for me, it's when it comes to dating, there's a lot of things that I look at. You know, some guys look at the factor of, well, I want somebody like my mom. And in all honesty, and I tell my guy friends all the time, we might as well suck that up. We're not gonna be able to say we want a woman like mom. We can't. Your mom's your mom.
Right.
Mom's in a whole different category. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So you can't say I want a woman like mom. No, your mom's another category, a whole different category. But for me, I have found it difficult because one, I look at my career. You know, I've had some women approach me because of what I do, not because of who I am. You know, and if you're interested in me because of only by what I do, well, that's telling me one thing. Another piece too is I have two children. You know, and I have to make sure that the person that I'm with understands the relationship that I have with my children, because me and my daughter, me and my son has a close relationship, but me and my daughter really have a close relationship. You know, my daughter's my firstborn. That's my princess right there. And the thing that I want is any woman that I bring into our family, I want that to be someone that my daughter may can look up to, can be like, well, wow, I would love to be like her. You know, I don't want to bring just anybody, around my kids, and they'd be like, well, you got such and such around your kids. She ain't she a little thottish, you know. I don't want to, I don't want to put my kids around that. And plus, when you're dealing with children, children get attached.
Yeah.
Children get attached. So I can't have someone that's going to be there and my kids get attached to them, and then that person's gone 6 months down the line, and then here comes somebody else, and then that person gone 10 months down the line, and then here comes somebody else. So me, I don't. That's why maybe I'm being difficult. I mean, what you think? You think I'm being difficult? I mean, I believe like, hey, if you're gonna be around, I can't. I got kids, and I have to not only respect myself, but I have to respect my children too.
Okay. Well, it's not that I think that you are being difficult. My thing is, when you have a career in acting, in entertainment in general, is women just come all over the place. I mean, they're everywhere. They're gonna approach you. But I just wonder how many good women you reject because
Yeah.
of your career or because of your kids. Like, do you even give them a shot? What I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, I would say I do, and I will. I can kind of go back to someone that I've attempted to date. I'm not going to use her name by the fear I don't want nobody in my Facebook inbox or threatening my life. Um, but there was someone I attempted to date at one point, and the relationship was fine. And with me acting, I had to do a certain type of scene, and when she seen that scene, her response was that was too real. That looked it too real for her. That looked it like there was really really emotions there. And I tried to explain to her, well, part of acting is you want it to be believable, but trust me, there were no emotions there. First of all, the woman that I was in the scene with, don't even like my type, if you know what I mean. She don't like men. So we gonna already nip that piece, but she don't like men. But she couldn't handle the fact of seeing me, you know, kissing or being intimate with a woman on a large scale. So for her, it was, you know, how is her family going to react to that, and what are her friends going to say? And I'm like, well, it's work, it's acting, there's nothing, no emotions involved, you know. I think I was reading some article where Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union had that same similar conversation, and I think for her, he was like, hey, I'm cool with you. You just can't take a bath before you go before them scenes. It was some article I read that like she can't go into the scenes fresh. Like it was that was a real article. Might be real, might not. Don't know. I read it. But for me, it was, she couldn't handle like seeing that. And don't get me wrong, she was a great person, nice, sweet woman. You know, had a phenomenal career as far as an accountant. So she really had her own, you know. But she just really couldn't handle seeing me pursuing my passion as far as acting, because of the image it portrayed as far as, well, what is my family gonna say? What are my friends gonna say? They get to see you, and I have to watch you become intimate with women, even knowing you're telling me there's no emotions there. But when I look at it, it seems real.
Do you think her having her own is something that's appealing to you right now because you are at a level that you want to be acting wise? Because I noticed that when men get wealthy, here's something I noticed when especially black men, when they get wealthy, a lot of actors, they don't even date black women anymore. And even if they do date black women, they won't date a black woman who isn't doing for herself. Like, you know, you said she's an accountant, she's independent.
Mm-hmm.
How much of that is important to you? Is that something that you're going to always want, or do you think you're going to change once you get wealthy? You might want a different color woman, or you might want a woman who doesn't even have to work. Do you see what I'm saying?
Me personally, I love my sisters. I'm gonna say that right now. I say that loud and proud. Loud and proud. And we see it even with, like I said, in entertainment, with athletes. You know, they get a certain status, they get a certain type, they get into a certain tax bracket, and they believe, well, they have to go outside of their race. And to me, I say, to each his own. Me personally, I'm not the type of person that's going to change simply because I have a certain tax bracket or a certain level of money. You know, if I'm with a person, I can be making millions. But if I'm in Walmart one day, here, and she catch my eye, we're going to have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? To be, people believe that because you're at a certain financial status, you have to date somebody up here. Like, even when I was working my low-end call center job, there's a woman that I was dating that worked for Ford. So we're talking about our financial are totally different, where she's already making six figures. I was nowhere near there. Mm-hmm. But that did not stop as far as the fact of my wanting to pursue her, or me having an interest in her. And even if we flip it the other way, if I'm at a you know, making millions, and I have someone that's not even there, as a man, my whole thought process is, okay, I'm living my dream. I'm pursuing my dream. How can I help my woman pursue hers? Yeah, you might be working this 9 to 5 at Walmart, or you might be doing this as far as working in the medical field. But what is your true passion? What are you trying to accomplish? I know you don't want to be sitting here and checking people out for the rest of your life. You know, what are you wanting to accomplish yourself? So to me, me personally, if she makes the same amount that I do, okay. If she doesn't, okay. My ideal is, as a man, is I want to help her and help build her up to pursue the things that she wants to pursue.
Do you know how difficult that is to find? Like, listen, trying to explain to any man the whole power couple scenario is very, very, it's just a hard conversation. But you used to see my modeling pictures, right?
Yeah.
And you saw me in lingerie and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So do you think that because if you met a woman and she used to do those things, or she still does those things, would that stop you from allowing her to be around your children?
Me?
Yes, you. And I
No.
want you to tell me, and I want you to tell, you're saying no, but I want you to tell me why not. Why wouldn't it bother you? Because you understand that it's a career.
I mean, for me, because I understand it's a career. Two, I've done my little modeling piece, so I have some photos that are floating out there uh, on social media that look a little bit. Yeah, I have a couple of them out there. But it's to me, it's a career. It's when I look at, I guess it could be because of how I think, or because I've been around this type of business. I look at modeling. As a career, it's an art, and there's different forms of modeling. There's different forms of art. So when it comes to meeting my kids, yeah, she would meet my kids as long as she don't come meet my kids with lingerie on. I can't say, hey, we going out to cheese and you got a a little Victoria's Secret. No, can't do that. But I wouldn't. That wouldn't interfere with meeting my kids. Nah.
Well, a lot of men feel like my past, and I told you this before we got on the
Mm-hmm.
on this, my past from me modeling, and I'm polyamorous now. You know what polyamorous is?
Nah, you got to break that down for me.
Okay, polyamorous is basically responsible non-monogamy,
Okay.
meaning if I was in a relationship with a man, if he wanted to have sex with other women, all he would have to do is be honest and just open about it, because I don't do committed relationships or marriage. So that
Okay.
means my man would have a hell of a lot of freedom. And I've done threesomes with my man, and a lot of people feel like because I decided to do these things, that makes me less of a woman to be with. So in the mind of a man, in relation to the women that they're choosing to marry, a lot of women want to know, does their past, or how many sex partners they had, or how many relationships they had before you came, does that determine whether a woman that you may be interested in deserves respect or not?
Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, a person's past, I look at it as a person's past. Everybody grows from their past. So, no one has a clean past. I don't have a clean past. I don't have a perfect past. I believe no one has the room to be judgmental, towards anyone of anything they've done in their past. I totally believe that if you're entering into a relationship with someone, how you talk about, having boundaries or certain expectations, as long as those things are clear up front, what happened in the past shouldn't even matter, because that happened before I came along. I don't care who you were with before me. I don't care what y'all did with before me. But as long as we have a understanding together, we have those boundaries set, and we are communicating what we expect from each other, well, then what happened 2, 5, 7, 8, 15 years ago, to me, don't even matter, because I wasn't there then. Back then, I needed help. I had my own opportunities. I had my own past. So I really can't judge you based off your past when I had a past myself.
Well, let's see. So I remember I told you I wanted you to ask me some questions that you wanted women that to answer, to see my perspective. You got anything?
So, oh yes, I got some questions. Oh yeah, let me get my notepad real quick. Now, I think for me, and I think one question that I do have, and this is kind of like just barbershop talk. Some of the things that guys we talk about often, that sometimes we always wonder, we really don't necessarily, have the answer to. Um, I'm going to ask, because some guys ask this question: what do women really want? Really, really, like really want?
I mean, that's so broad, because with each woman it's different. It's no general anything. It's the same thing with men. Like each man, you like a specific woman to look a specific way. You want her to be a certain way. Like we were just talking about this whole power couple thing. I've been with guys and they don't even have any ambition or any goals, and they fine with it. And it's women who would be fine with them being fine with that. But me, I'm like, I cannot deal with that. So each woman is different. You just have to learn each woman and what she wants specifically. Like some women don't like affection, And I've heard guys say that, but my girl isn't as affectionate as I would like for her to be. Some girls want their man to be with them 24/7, 24 all of the time. I can't handle that. I want my man to travel sometimes. I want to miss him sometimes. I need for him to be gone. You know, I need him to go do
Right.
some work or something. And then some
Right.
women say, hey, you know, I want a man who is financially stable. But then for me, I'm like, listen, as long as you doing whatever you doing, it doesn't matter. We can do this financial stuff together. You know, so it's just different. It's no general anything. I think men are looking for like a general like algorithm to get like
Yeah.
a specific response out of women.
Because right now it seems like it's a whole mathematic equation that we're trying to figure out. And it's just like this formula, and it's just like, we still ain't got it yet, but we're trying to get it. So that's like, one of the questions we try, we wonder. And I think you said a very valid point that, not each woman, is the same. Every woman's different. Every woman wants certain things. So as men, sometimes it bothers us when we hear that wonderful, I'm going to call it a wonderful phrase that all men are dogs or all men are this, but every man's different, every man, I challenge women who say that a lot because
I'm guilty of that. I say that a lot because from being in the entertainment industry, you know
yeah,
that majority of the men inside of the entertainment industry, they're extremely promiscuous. They don't commit. They don't, half the time they're lying to you about where they are. And so I've experienced that most of my life. And then when I decided to start dating guys who were not inside of the entertainment industry, it was difficult for me to deal with them because they didn't like the attention I would get when I would be out somewhere and everybody would recognize me and look straight through them. So it was difficult either way. It didn't matter. I would always have a problem. So, and instead of them discussing that problem with me, they do something like cheat on me or go find a woman to do whatever it is they want to do or to help them feel better about themselves. So to me, I just seen a pattern in poor choices I was making in men myself. And then I said, well, let me choose a different kind of man. And then I noticed that the different kind of men that I was choosing that were maybe college educated or not as promiscuous or maybe looking for marriage or monogamy, they weren't interested in a woman like me because I have a past. I was a lingerie model. I was X, Y, and Z. So it's just been difficult for me. I want to know what men want. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm still friends with every guy that I've pretty much been with. Like 80% of them I'm still friends with. So it wasn't that I was a bad person or they wouldn't still be talking to me. They still check up on me, they still call me, they still hit me with the I love you, They might have girlfriends and families, but they are still like protective in relation to me. So I wonder what else is going on with me that's making them be like that. And when I see the women that they choose, I'd be like, that's what you want? It's just, I don't know.
Like, oh, you done downgraded.
It's not even that. It's more like I would have never guessed that would have been something you chose, whether she an upgrade or downgrade. It's just like, wow, I didn't even see that person matching your personality. So I look at myself and I feel like I don't match with anybody because no one understands the duality of my life to where I'm in the entertainment industry and I'm still a regular person. You know what I mean?
So a question so you kind of mentioned something as far as like, you're friends with, a large percentage of your exes. And I have guy friends. Some of my guy friends, homies, they like, look, she can't be friends with none of her exes. Then I have some, they be like, well, I'm cool with it. As long as we all agree, it's like, hey, you a friend, that's it. Ain't nothing else going on. Do you think some guys could be intimidated by that?
By me still having, yeah, because I've heard men say, well, a woman isn't a good woman if she's still friends with a whole bunch of guys. But see, my thing is, I was their friend before. Like, I don't rush into things. I move like a damn snail when it comes to that. So I'm like their friend for like a year or two before we even get involved. So it's easier when we break up for the breakup to go smoother. That's why I like doing that first. Because if they respect me as a friend, then when we break up, or if we break up, it's not such a horrible, you know, breakup. It's bad. But I mean, a lot of the men that have tried to get at me, they don't know that initially. You know, so I don't know what else it is about me. I don't know. You met me. I mean, but see, I asked you earlier, why did you? Because you've never tried to get at me. And I was like, I wonder why he's never done that. Well, and then you say you had your career, so maybe with majority of men, it's because of their career and everything else that's going on with their minds. That's
Like,
making me still be single.
like me, like even I would take this back even years ago. When I was, first started going into school, going to college. And when I was going into college, everything was perfect. I was cool, making great grades, good grades. And lo and behold, hooked up with a woman, started slipping, lost focus, wanted me to be there, wasn't getting my grades, wasn't in class on time and all that. So for me, it's I believe as a man, this is just me thinking, I have to be at a certain level, or I have to be at a certain place in life before I entertain or pursue a woman, because relationships shouldn't be difficult. Relationships shouldn't be hard. I believe as a man, I should be prepared and have a plan put in place before I bring a woman into my life. I should know, well, this is what I'm trying to do. This is what I'm trying to accomplish. And I also want to help you with whatever you're trying to accomplish too. I'm at the point in life where I can't hook up with somebody and be like, okay, what we trying to do?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what we trying to do? What we doing? I'm 36. I'll be 37 next year.
Well, I'm 36. I'm 36. I'll be 37 next year. And the June 1st.
Gemini.
Yes, I'm a Gemini.
I'm a Cancer. I'm July 20th.
Crazy.
No.
I'm just
that's where. So funny story. My son's mama was a Gemini. I had another ex that was a Gemini. I had another ex that was a Gemini.
I don't think a Gemini and a Cancer is a good, I think because Cancers 9 times out of 10 are a lot more sensitive than they show. That's what I think. They'll show anger first before they show sadness.
Our hearts be on the outside. It's like right here. Exactly. We wear it on a sleeve where you can really see it. I mean, this is true. People say about Cancers, we do. But when we mad, ooh.
I know, right? I know, right? But okay, so I know our time is up because I know you have to go. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Now, according to the feedback that we get, I might ask you to do another one.
Okay.
You will be open to it?
Most definitely.
If I could figure out how to live stream us and get people talking and them asking you questions, I'm gonna work on that, okay? Because I know, right? That would be awesome, but I have to figure it out. Like I had to figure out this whole Hangouts thing. So I'll let you know, and I really appreciate it. Tell everybody where they can find you at.
So you could find me on Instagram at Tyrice Lollis. That's at TYRICELOLLIS. That would be the same on Twitter as well. And you can just search Tyrice Lollis on Facebook, and you can find me there also. Again, it's TYRICE, not TYRESE, not that one. I look better than him. So yeah, that's Tyrice right there. Yeah.
All right, guys. Appreciate you watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Have vision and stay focused.